Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session that was created for a client that was going through a difficult breakup with someone that they felt was narcissistic and manipulative, and the breakup wasn't easy. And what they evaluated about their life was that they described themselves as being like a shell, like being completely drained, and that a lot of decisions that they made for the relationship actually took away from who they really were. And they were left almost feeling like a bit of a husk, that there was nothing left. So what you're going to hear in this hypnosis session is two key themes of a metaphor. One is that of a vampire, and in particular, an emotional vampire. Because if you think about vampires in horror movies and books, they drain the blood of their victims. And an emotional vampire would drain the emotions. So it links to their evaluation that they're drained. But obviously, if you were free of an emotional vampire, then the draining can stop at that particular point. What can happen, though, is that people can leave situations, people can leave toxic relationships or toxic jobs and still think a lot about the previous relationship or the previous job. So in a weird way, they've escaped from a prison and then voluntarily visiting exactly the place that they've escaped from. So this is designed to really perceive being free of an emotional vampire as an empowering sense of freedom rather than they've been left as an empty shell. The second metaphor in this hypnosis session involves the Great Fire of London. Now, this particular client wasn't based in the UK, but they're familiar with the story of the Great Fire of London. And that was that London, several hundred years ago was a thriving city, but it was a city that got big almost by accident. It was in a strategic location near a river, and lots of people kind of used it and flocked to the city. And when you hear stories almost like of ancient London, not even ancient London, but just kind of historical London, Dickensian London, lots of kind of violence and dysentery and disease and poor quality housing and poverty. And lots of people perceived that the best thing to ever happen to London was the Great Fire of London, which itself was chaotic and destructive, and lots of people died, and lots of damage took place to properties. But in doing so, London was able to be rebuilt with all of the knowledge that they had at the time to make it better than it was before. And lots of people consider London to be one of the greatest cities in the world. But it only came to be because of something very destructive. And that's quite a useful metaphor when people are at the chaos stage of something, let's say, breaking or something being destroyed or the end of something. It can feel like the chaos. But what if the chaos is just a necessary step to build something better than it ever was before? So if you're listening to this and you've come out of a relationship or some kind of interaction with someone that you believe to be draining you, and that doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, that could be a boss or that could be a toxic friend, then I think this session may be useful. But equally, if you haven't found yourself in that situation and are looking at this more like, how would you like to make your life better than it's ever been before, this can also be useful. Because sometimes having a period of time where you reflect on your life and ask yourself the question, how do I use this time as a transition period to lay a foundation to make it better than it's ever been before, is itself quite empowering. So although it might be useful for someone experiencing a breakup, it's not necessary. Look at this through the lens of giving your own emotional needs to yourself first and making your life better than it's ever been before. If you feel that a bespoke session for you would be beneficial in any area of your life, there will be a link in the show notes that you can schedule a completely free consultation call to explore working with me. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed. Relax and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a slow, calm, relaxing breath. And as you breathe out, feel a wonderful feeling of release. Not just of the breath, but as you breathe in and breathe out, every time you exhale, feel a wonderful feeling of letting go. And maybe you're letting go of tension, stress, or worries. But also feel like you're letting go of an attachment that no longer serves you. As you breathe in and breathe out, reflect on key decisions you've made. And perhaps, if there was a continuation of emotional attachment, maybe that would defeat the very purpose of the decisions you've made. So breathe in resourceful emotions, confidence, gratitude, a feeling of liberation and empowerment. And as you breathe out, release any feelings of sadness, anger, frustration, or regret. Any emotion that doesn't empower you is holding you back. And therefore release those disempowering emotions every time you breathe out. Breathing in what your body needs and releasing what you don't. So simply by breathing in and breathing out, not only are you feeling more relaxed in all those tiny muscles in your face, neck and shoulders, but also feel that you're being recharged. Imagine your emotional power bank was down to 0%. And now feel, as you breathe in, empowering emotions, the resources are incrementally increasing. You might even see a number, and maybe it started at 0%. And every time you breathe in, it's climbing. 1% becomes 2, and 2 becomes 3. And have a wonderful feeling that you are recharging your emotional power bank. The deeper you breathe, the deeper relaxed you become. I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine going back in time and almost from a bird's eye view, imagine seeing London before the Great Fire of London. A bustling city filled with wooden buildings. See it without any planning. Tiny streets filled with crime. No sewage system, excrement on the streets. I want you to see a big city that was fundamentally broken. And then imagine witnessing what started off as a small fire in a bakery, which led to the Great Fire of London. Chaos, death and injury. The most destructive thing to ever happen at that point in history was a major city burning to the ground. But I want you to see what happened in the days, weeks, and months that followed. Initially, shock, sadness, anger, frustration, chaos. How could this happen? Who's to blame? But as time went on, a more important question was asked. What do we now do? Knowing everything we now know, how do we make things better? And perhaps the most powerful question of all, what has to happen for things to be even better than they were before? Some historians would say that the very best thing to ever happen to London was the most destructive thing. The Great Fire of London gave London the ability to start again. And in doing so, became better than it ever was. Imagine taking yourself forwards in time as you witness from a third-person perspective an 18-year relationship. But imagine looking at it through the lens that you invited an emotional vampire into your life. Look at it through the lens that, knowing what you now know, certain things were pure manipulation. Some of the sadness you saw wasn't real. Some of the anger you saw wasn't real. Just tools to drain more and more of your emotions, of your freedom, using emotions to control. I want you to see the sacrifices, the compromises you made to try and repair something fundamentally broken. I want you to see someone that had good intentions, that was doing the best. But I want you to see someone playing a game that was never winnable. Of course it was exhausting. Of course you were drained. It would be like someone trying to use buckets of water from the Thames to put out the Great Fire of London. They would be exhausted and tired and frustrated, but they couldn't stop what was happening. Time is better spent through acceptance and then unlocking the resources to rebuild. You are already wiser than you've ever been. Experience and emotional pain are great teachers. I want you to observe your life still from a third-person perspective as you are now. I want you to imagine seeing not as someone drained and broken, but as someone free from the clutches of an emotional vampire. The irony would be, if someone was free from a vampire and still voluntarily drained their own blood and gave it to a vampire, then they're not truly free. I want you to imagine seeing yourself not only free from an emotional vampire, but see yourself making a choice to no longer keep giving emotions away. Breathe in and breathe out. And with that perspective, enable new ideas to take root. You feel a profound sense of relief and energy now that you have stepped away from a relationship that was draining you. Each breath you take fills you with rejuvenating energy, reminding you that your emotional well-being is now entirely in your own hands. You embrace the opportunity to rediscover who you truly are, exploring your interests, desires, and dreams with newfound enthusiasm. The chaos of the past becomes a valuable lesson, serving as a foundation upon which you build a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. And you can view this stage of life as liberating freedom, giving permission to yourself to celebrate your release from a relationship that was diminishing your spirit. With each day, you find more and more reasons to celebrate your newfound freedom, engaging in activities that bring joy and fulfillment. I want you to observe yourself that when you're dealing with any necessary interactions with your ex, see yourself maintaining a pragmatic and detached approach. See yourself conserving your emotional energy for those who enrich your life. You are recharged by the realization that you no longer need to cater to the emotional demands of someone who drained you. And you feel empowered to live life on your terms, making choices that reflect your true self and your personal happiness. I want you to see yourself in the future with an open heart and an open mind. And maybe it's months, if not years in the future. See yourself having laid strong foundations, extracted all the wisdom, rediscovered who you really are, and see yourself as open to new, healthy relationships that honor your worth and reciprocate your emotional investment. You find strength in solitude and in the company of those who uplift and support you. There is no need to invest any more time or energy, even if it gives a sense of validation. You're still giving that energy away. See the energy being conserved, harnessed, utilized for you. See that you are deserving of genuine connections, and to receive positive emotions from other people. The lessons learned from your past relationship illuminate your path forward, guiding you towards more fulfilling interactions and experiences. And with time, you can appreciate the contrast between the emotions of your past relationship and your current state of freedom, valuing your emotional health above all. You see yourself as a role model to your children, showing them what it looks like to make the best of any situation. And your energy levels soar as you focus on your well-being, practicing self-care and surrounding yourself with positivity. Having gone through what you've been through, notice how you confidently set boundaries that protect your emotional space, ensuring you are surrounded by those who respect and cherish you. And as you move forward, you carry with you a sense of pride for having the courage to leave a situation that was not serving you. Why choose freedom and then voluntarily walk back into the prison? Celebrate your freedom. Preserve your emotional energy. Don't allow even one more drop to be given to someone who has drained so much. You can discover joy in the simple pleasures of life, appreciating the peace that comes with emotional independence. You are building a foundation for your future, and you embrace the opportunity to cultivate a life that is rich with activities and people that reflect your true self and aspirations. Feel how your spirit is light and free, no longer weighed down by the draining presence of an emotional vampire. You are now ready to soar to new heights. Get a glimpse of that future version of you as days turn into weeks and weeks turn into months. You're no longer drained, no longer a shell. You are recharged and stronger than ever before. Notice how a flower in a dark room without water can wilt. But within hours of receiving sunshine and water, gets back so quickly to who they really are. You are excited by the prospects of your future, energized by the freedom to shape your destiny in alignment with your deepest values and desires. You are free. You can enjoy the freedom. Freedom isn't easy, but you wouldn't have it any other way. As you breathe in and breathe out, feel like you're returning to the present, but notice how that emotional power bank is either at 100% or very close to it, feeling recharged, brimming with the very resources to move your life forward. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Connect fully with the present moment as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling resourceful, energized, and empowered, celebrating your newfound freedom and saying goodbye to an emotional vampire of the past. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.